Okay, these are always fun. It's time for some more product updates from my buddy Paul. Now, if you're just joining the story midstream, Paul is an industrial design engineer whose hobby is designing and producing accessories to enhance popular gaming gadgets that we already own. And he's been at it again. Hey there, welcome back to Gen X Grown Up. I'm John and I am a Gen X Grown Up. Thank you for taking the time to click on this video. I have shared a number of Paul's designs here on Gen X Grown Up, including his pole position racing player wheel expander, Game Station Pro paddle attachment, a dual joystick battle zone stand, and more. Paul takes a lot of pride in his work and always listens to feedback from users. One very common question he gets is, I like this particular design, but could you do such and such to enhance it? Or maybe make another version compatible with this other gizmo? Well, unsurprisingly, he takes all of these comments to heart, and in response, he's just rolled out some new, evolved versions of some enhancements he had previously released, and he's given me the opportunity to share them here with you. Now, as always, if you see something you like, links to Paul's Etsy store will be down in this video description, so you can support Paul's work for the retro gaming community and get something for yourself that's cool too. Okay, I want to start with the new options he's added to his previously released CX78 controller grip.
Now, you might remember this grip from a few months ago when it was first released, and the goal is to compensate for the kind of blocky nature of the CX78 controller that comes with this 7800 Plus, or you could buy it separately too. Now I have a wireless version here. This has cutouts for both the wired and wireless version, but the whole idea is you just tuck it right in here, slide it in place, clicks in, and then you have a grip, a very kind of like a modern, PlayStation or Xbox style modern controller grip that you can use to play Atari 7800 or 2600 or whatever, games you want to play with this controller. The criticism, or I guess observation enhancement that most recent, oh, by the way, and this is one of the other enhancements he did, which is this little nub that this D-pad gets turned into a regular stick, which is pretty cool. Anyway, is that, and I agree, and look, Atari did this decades ago and they just kept it here. The 1 and 2 buttons are really, like that button's really far apart. The 2 button is fine-ish, but this one, like it's a long way to get to if you are playing anything with, it needs 2 buttons to control it. So, here's what he did. In the modern versions, you'll see there's a little notch here and here. I should say modern, the most recent iteration of this grip. And along with it, you add this. This bizarre beast is the CX78 button relocator. So you just tuck it in here, find a little notch. Done. All right, so what I now have is, look, he has this little lever, and it sits, can you see there? It sits on the button with a little notch and a little spring underneath there, and that puts the second controller button right here, right where it would be. Now, he actually, not kidding here, he actually told me, I actually looked at the physics of the human hand and the rotational direction of your thumb and where it would be if you moved, and that's exactly where he chose to relocate this button. So yeah, you could still reach over there and hit that, certainly. You can play it just like this. You could play it like this, depending on what you're doing, what buttons you need, kind of thing. Now, so I'm the first to admit that this is going a long way to modify the CX78. If you really hate the controller this much, maybe use a different controller, I guess. But if you like the CX78 and you like this grip, and you also felt this button maybe could be a little more ergonomic, this does that. It's all built to relocate that button for you. So at this point, I have 3 modifications on the CX78 that I have here. I have the topper here that gives you a nice little rubbery stick onto the D-pad. I have the grip itself, of course, and then I have this button relocator. So let's go play something on the 7800 Plus that uses 2 buttons and see what it's like. All right, I've got my 7800 Plus set up down here. I've got Bob DeCrescenzo's scramble port, and I've got my CX78 Plus wireless all tricked out with everything that Paul currently offers. So let's give this thing a shot. Let's see, normal, 1 player. So fire button and bombs. Fire, bombs. Try
try to not be in the way of the screen so you can see, but hopefully you can see how easy it is to get between those two. It's right where your finger is expecting them to be. Whoa! Look, if you struggle with the location of the buttons on that CX78, this just might be the solution for you. I mean, it works great for me. As I said, maybe if you don't want to do all this, a different controller is in order, but if you want to stay pure and use your original controller, but fix the little ergonomic trouble that it's got, there you go. Next up is the joystick ball topper. Now, if you missed the story of the twists and turns that led to this CX40 joystick ball, I recommend you check out the video. It's linked up there in the corner. You can look at that at your convenience. It is a pretty amusing tale, but after the release of this ball top, and the one compatible with the GameStation Pro, he got further requests to make versions that would fit a more modern Atari joystick. Now, if you saw that other video I referenced, you know why this ball top on a CX40 is so important to me. It's something I discovered years ago. I worked with Paul to recreate it because I just like that arcade feel on a CX40. It just makes it more ergonomic, makes it more just easier to use. It feels more natural to me because I was so used to it as a kid, and finding it again, I couldn't, so Paul made it. And it used to be just shipped just with the ball, but nowadays, it now comes with a stand. Yeah, I know they look like eyeballs. That's just how they look. Look, you can pull them off of here, and the top of the stand looks just like the top of a CX40. You know, it has that hexagon shape. That's what the balls look like, and it's labeled CX40. So why would you label it CX40? What confusion could there possibly be? Well, that's because he also did a new version that works with the Atari VCS Classic joystick. And a little bit different, of course, so the Classic joystick is not a hexagon. So if you compare these, here's the one for the CX40, and this one even has these little rubbery grips in it to grab a hold of that slick stalk of the joystick so that the rotational control works. Let me show you. Here's my VCS controller, and you can see, if you look in there, you can see there's just little, I guess there's little washers or something in there, but when you slide this on, it pushes a little bit, and then it's on there. It's going nowhere, and you get the same kind of feeling. You get that ball top stick, plus you get a handle on the paddle functionality of the VCS controller. Now, I didn't think I needed this, because I actually thought it might be in the way because of the rotational. But what I'm finding is that for rotational games, it actually gives you a better handle on the rotation of the stick instead of, like, there we go, instead of having to do this, right, with your fingertips. Now what you have is this larger thing that you can grab with several fingers and rotate. I'll show you. Look, don't take my word for it. Let's fire up the VCS and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so I've got the VCS fired up here. Going to play some Roasty Buds. Just to show you first, to play a platformer, it just makes control in a platformer, for me at least, that much better to have this ball top on there. And of course, it's hanging on tight. It's not going anywhere. Let's just play a little to show you. Yep. Yeah. Just feels like an arcade stick. It's great. Oh, let's go get this red sparrow. Release the bud. Come on, Fireball. Yep. And around. Let's wrap this level up. Good job, Fireball. Up there. Whoa. Don't. And across. Go, go, go. And got it. Ah! Now, maybe more importantly, how about an arcade game that requires you to have a spinner? Let's jump into some Tempest. All right. Heck yeah. It's just, there's a nicer grip here. It's just easier to get a hold of. It feels more like a real spinner. And not for nothing, another great game that really needs a paddle or spinner, Major Havoc. So you're already playing the Pong game down here, right? Yep. There you go, in Pong, and then you're playing.
I'm not saying it's the only way to play these games, but if you have a VCS and you're playing these classic games, adding this ball, I think, is the way to go. Perfect landing. Up we go. All right. And across. Because you use the paddle to do your navigating. Oh, I got hit. And one more. Why not? The classic Pong. There we are over there. Perfect. It's just more like the classic arcade game feel. And if that's what you're shooting for, like I always am, then really nice addition.
Now, before I go, I have one more new design I'd like to show you, and it's another evolution of that CX78 controller grip, but for yet another style of handheld device.
Quick refresher, here's the CX78 grip. We were just talking about it. Now is the ability to add the button relocator, as I'd said. But he got questions. Paul got questions from customers and users who said, this grip is great. There are other devices that could benefit from that. So he made this thing. Now, what could that be for, I wonder? Well, check this out. This is for my arcade Pocket Player Pros that have a horizontal screen orientation. Now, some of the ones, the arcade ones like Galaga and Pac-Man that are vertical, they're more narrow. But for this wide body Pocket Player Pro, like this Atari 50th anniversary, this gives you a grip for that. So if you're looking to do a Yar's Revenge points run, you're all set. Check that out. I gotta zap this coat towel before we move on. Give me just a second. Got him. Take that. And like I said, this works not just with the Atari 50, but any of the 2024 horizontal layout Pocket Player Pros. For example, let's pull this one out. Plug in Street Fighter. Fits in there like a dream. There you go. Also, one more. Just slide this one out. And how about some Mega Man? There you go. Lanyard is still clear. Access to all the buttons on the back. Still accessible. And look, there may be others. These are just the ones that I have handy that I tried. So this guy lets you play your existing gadgets with this nice new grip. If you like that kind of a feeling, this might just be just the thing to breathe new life into those Pocket Player Pros you picked up last year.
That brings us up to date with the current offerings in Paul's store. I always enjoy sharing these with you, not only because they're neat designs from a nice guy, but because I really appreciate that tinkering mentality of finding new and innovative ways to enhance stuff you already own in order to get further enjoyment out of it. And that's just what Paul is doing. Again, links to all his stuff can be found down in the video description. And I will toss links to some more of his work I featured here and here. I certainly hope you found something to enjoy in this video, and I can't wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.